I learned this long ago and it still blows my mind that you think the same thoughts over and over and over again every day. 90% of what you think is redone, just regurgitated, just you've had those thoughts before, nothing new here, nothing to see here, like the same old stuff over and over again. Only 10%, if we're lucky, are new things. Welcome to the world of energy, where science meets spirit. Ancient wisdom merges with cutting-edge knowledge, and the possibilities for a healthier, happier you are endless. Hi, everyone. Lauren here. Welcome back to another episode of Energy Works. And I'm doing a little solo pod this morning. And it looks like it might be a beautiful day, but right now it's super gray out. And I'm sitting here with my hot drink, snuggled in my favorite ski sweater, even though ski season isn't happening for some time. And what's in my favorite drink here? It's some drip coffee, just a little bit, not too much caffeine, a little bit. And it's made through a filter, which I learned just recently from Blaine is the best way to get your coffee. It's the healthiest and increases the length of your telomeres. So a little longevity drink, but mostly what's in this cup is my Dandelion drink, which I really love. And one of the reasons I love it is dandelions, right? Most people consider them weeds, but dandelions grow up after soil's been disturbed, and they do quite a lot to help anchor the soil. You'll know if you've seen the really, really long roots and tendrils. And they are particularly good for your liver, cleansing your liver, which is one of the detoxifying organs in the body. And I always find it so interesting, what is a weed, what is a flower, and how we change how we think about things. And, the earth gives us what we need. And we, I think, need a lot of detoxifying from this fairly toxic planet. And the earth just shows us that by throwing dandelions all over the place. So I'm drinking some dandelions here. And really what I want to talk about is how difficult it can be to change trajectories. So we're in this time towards the end of autumn, the metal season in Chinese medicine, coming into winter. And this particular transition is one of the most, I don't know the right word, delicate, dangerous. Some of those words could maybe stick for it, but it's definitely one to put a mark in for yourself so that you can really keep yourself strong during this time. We're changing out of very changeable weather. In the autumn, we get, gorgeous sunny days and snow and rain and everything. Outside my house is kind of a mud pit right now because it's been raining and raining and raining. But also internally, we're going from this very expressive, outgoing part of the year, of the summer, moving into the autumn where things have shifted, but we're still outside a lot and a lot of the activities are outdoors. And we're about to shift into a time of year that for most people is very interior, whether it's interior in houses and buildings because you live in the northern climates and it's cold, or interior because that is the time of year, no matter where you are, of bringing your awareness inside for that. It's the end of one season and the start of another in a sense, because the metal season going into water, autumn going into winter, is about that ultimate transition. So it's the transition of the end of life into death. It's the transition of endings of all kinds, ending events or projects, or even if a project is long and ongoing year after year after year, there's still subtle changes and lulls. And this is one of those where it's the downbeat, where we're going to now stop and pause and look at everything that we've done on this project and see what the next steps are to move forward. And that's really what the winter water element time is about, is that inward looking. It's where we kind of dream up all the possibilities and dream up the answers to challenges or problems, solutions, all of that, of what's going on with those ongoing projects. And so it's a really potent time, and it's also can be a difficult time of transition because of that movement in from the last vestiges of some warm days into cold, stormy weather, all kinds of things that make us want to sit in our snuggly sweaters with our hot drinks and, go internal journal or read books or watch movies or play games or sit and talk by the fire, all of those kind of activities that we associate with these long, dark, cold winter days. And part of the problem with these transitions, and this one in particular, is we'll go step out of quantum for a minute and into mechanistic science for a minute, and we'll go to Newton. And objects in motion tend to stay in motion unless acted upon by a force. And that's what I feel is happening in this time of year, is that we still have this momentum that we've carried over from the summer where we're go, go, go. And there's this pressure of the winter is just at the doorstep. And are we ready for it? Have you chopped all your firewood, or have you had all your firewood delivered, or have you had your fuel delivered? Have you put up the extra treatments on the windows that keep the cold out? Have you put away the summer clothes and brought out the winter clothes and checked through everything? Have you fixed all and repaired the holes in all the winter clothes that you were going to do at the end of winter last year and you never got to? And now your favorite jacket has a big rip in it and it's not ready for the next snowstorm. Do the boots fit? Have the kids grown? Do they need new boots? And all of those things. And so we're still really kind of pushing hard. And the days are shorter. The light leaves earlier. It's dark here now around like 5:30. And so if you're working outside, buttoning up your gardens, like all of the things that you want to do outside, or the last hikes that you're going to take before the snow hits, it's like you're trying to get everything in. And in the brain, the massive brain power that you're putting out to finish up all the projects and get everything done before the holidays. And for some of you that are in, that really work far in advance, I mean, you've probably already have your holiday letters, if you send those out, or gifts that go far around the planet. You're sending those out right now to make sure that they get there by the holidays. So there's just a lot on everybody's plate right now. And it feels like even though we're entering this time now of calming down, until we get to January, there really doesn't seem like there's a lot of calm down. In fact, everything amps up because then we move into the holidays and there's just so much going on. Okay. So how do we stop this trajectory, this being in motion and tending to stay in motion, and move into rest? And not only right now in this chunk of time, but just in general in our lives, because this is something that happens cyclically every day. You've got the cycles of the day, just like you have the cycles of the month and the cycles of the years. And the cycle of the day brings you from morning, whatever your morning routines are, through then the peak of the day when you're working really hard. And then you calm that down in the late evening after you have your last supper, your supplemental meal, kind of a lighter meal towards the end of the day. And then you're closing whatever you do to close out the rituals of the day, whether it's, writing, journaling, taking a hot bath, doing abhyanga, or some of the more stimulating things like watching movies or TV. We watched Saturday Night Live last night. And so by 11 o'clock, luckily we watch it here in real time. So it starts at 9:30. Otherwise, there's no way. But at 11 o'clock, so I'm already just at the edge of where I should already be asleep. And now I'm kind of hyper-stimulated because we really laughed a lot. There was a couple of really good sketches last night. So how do we do that? How do we stop? And this really came to the forefront of my brain because last week we decided to take a rest day. Actually two, but one of them turned into a full work day, and that's kind of my point. So I'm having some work done on my house right now, fixing some things, right? Trying to get everything done before winter, buttoned up, fixing all the things. I'm calling this Fix It All Fall. And then, of course, I add Better Call Saul. Fix it all fall, Saul. So just all of the things that I've been wanting to fix in my house and home and business and life, like just everything. I'm getting, I'm mending jackets and fixing holes in the floor, just like everything is happening. And so there's been a lot of people at my house, and I also work from my house. And so it's been very overstimulating and just too much going on. I'm a very solitary person. I'm an introvert. I love my alone time. I love silence, quiet, stillness. And I've had none of that for months now. So we thought, my husband and I, let's go down to Hot Springs for a couple of nights while they're doing this part of the project that was really like gonna be very disruptive. So let's get out of town. So we went to Hot Springs, which is this quiet, tiny little town. It's like almost frozen in amber from like the 1940s when a big hotel was built, and it's still there, and it looks like it's from the 1940s. It's literally frozen in time. And there's 2 or 3 places in town where you can soak in some of the best mineral spring water in the world. So we go to this one place that we always go to, and it's lovely. We have our own little tub that we can soak in, and there's a little cafe in town that has amazing food. So we got a bunch of food, and I know I have some work to do, but not too much. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to relax. There's no one around. It's quiet. I have nothing to do. I have hot springs right outside, literally outside my sliding door. I've got my little Dandelion drink, which has been out of stock everywhere, but they had it in this little tiny town. So we got there, and I put all the stuff away, and I slide into the hot springs. And I cannot get my brain to turn off. It just simply won't. It's spinning about all the things I didn't do, all the things I have to do, my to-do list. I've got like 6 major projects that I'm working on right now, and that's not an over-exaggeration. And so my brain starts going through all of them. And even the things that I've already completed in each of those projects, my brain went over them again to just confirm. Did you pay that person? Did you order that thing that you need? Like all of it over and over and over again. It just kept going through. And so then I'd get out of the springs and I would grab my journal and I would write down my to-do list so that I could just dump it out of my brain. But then every time I got back in the tub again, it would come up with more and more and more and more and more. My journal is just like wet and covered in smeary writing of all these things. And then on top of it, not only was my brain cataloging and making sure that I was doing everything that I have to do, but it started going into the future and coming up with all these new ideas and new thoughts and new ways to do that project. And it was just endless. I'm sitting there in the tub and I do this yogic practice. It's called svadhyaya, which is self-study. And it's about knowing yourself and witnessing how you are and not making assumptions and not just operating on an unconscious level of just, being. I learned this long ago and it still blows my mind that you think the same thoughts over and over and over again every day. 90% of what you think is redone, just regurgitated, just you've had these thoughts before, nothing new here, nothing to see here, like the same old stuff over and over again. Only 10%, if we're lucky, are new things. And so I'm watching my brain just catalog all the past and then start projecting all the future. And the way my brain works is like when I have an idea, it sketches it out in such detail. Like I'll have titles, I'll have logos and designs and color palettes and fonts and it's just insane. And then all the people I should reach out to and how to word emails to them. It's endless and it's exhausting. And here I am on my one kind of full day off. I don't even really have the full day off, but I'm not taking what I have off anyway. And I'm sitting there and I'm saying to my brain, we have like a limited amount of time. You drove all the way down here so that you could relax. Maybe we should think about relaxing. And the brain was like, hell no, girl. I got miles to go. And the brain just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning. So there's options, right? You can try meditation, but if you've got a brain like my brain, you throw some meditation at it and your brain just laughs. It's like spitting into a fire. And that's often what happens when I sit down to meditate. The brain laughs and we just spin around for a little while and then we get up and I just hope that whatever benefits meditation was supposed to accrue to me accrued because I clocked my time, even though it never felt like anything except sitting in a different position while my brain spins out. So I'm sitting here in the tub and I'm wondering how I'm going to relax because if the brain is firing on all cylinders, the body is not fully relaxed either. It's very hard to find that rejuvenation when you're just spinning out. So I'm thinking about Newton. Things in motion tend to stay in motion unless acted upon. So what could I do to act upon my brain? And here it is. It just drops in because that's how the brain works. And of course it drops in and then I laugh because here I am, the founder of Energy Medicine Yoga. I've written 3 books on energy medicine yoga. I teach to hundreds and thousands of people all over the planet. I train teachers. And it's that sort of unconscious mind that has the answers, but is not maybe spitting them out to you because it's just on autopilot. And it took me sitting there and really separating from my brain instead of just being, I am my brain and what I am my thoughts. I know that that's not true. So there's a part of me that can separate out and watch my brain and have this conversation with my brain, like, hey brain, let's maybe take a little break here so that we can rejuvenate and regenerate and change our trajectory, because here we are, we're in the season of changing trajectories. We need to now pivot and do something different. And so what I did was some energy medicine holds that calm the brain and calm the nervous system down and give you space to then pivot. Because one of the rules of energy is it needs space. And that is no different in your brain than in your body. In the body, this is one of the reasons that yoga is such a perfect complement to energy medicine, which birthed energy medicine yoga, is because in any kind of yoga practice, one of the main things that you're doing is creating space in the body by stretching and moving, releasing fascial adhesions, by moving joints, muscles, tendons, ligaments. You create space in the body for energy to move. But we also need to create space in the brain so that we can move, change, pivot, think new thoughts, new ideas, challenge our dogmas and our beliefs. We can only do that if we have space in the brain. So I want to show you a couple of the holds that I did that made this day and a half, or, I don't know how many hours I truly had that were free. But the point is, I felt so expansive, even though I still had meetings that I had to do online. On this day off, I felt expansive. And I was getting up so early in the morning. And the final day, we only spent 2 nights there, but it felt like so much longer. I got up the final morning at like 5:30 or 6 o'clock and slid into the tub, and it was dark and quiet, and watched the sky lighten. And the whole day felt so long. And that's the kind of spaciousness that we can pivot within, that we can then choose how we want to enter the next season instead of just go slamming into the next thing and slamming into the next thing. We stop, take a pause, and then gracefully step into whatever the next thing is with wisdom, with creativity. Okay, I'm going to take my earmuffs off because one of the holds that I'm going to do is literally right around the ears. So I'll show you the first hold first. And this one you've seen before, but here's the thing. These holds do so many different things that we forget when we come up with a new thing that needs a hold that we might already know the hold, but we correlate it with something else. So take your hand and place it over your forehead like you're taking your temperature. Now, if you're an avid listener of Energy Works, you know that this one can help you go to sleep at night. If you wake up in the middle of the night, it can help you fall back to sleep. If you're stressed or going through any kind of traumatic experience, it can help keep you from going into fight, flight, or freeze. All of those things speak to what I'm talking about now, is interrupting the ticker tape. That's the word, the ticker tape of thoughts just pouring through your mind, so that you can be present with what's going on and not racing through your to-do list or examining every past action and make sure you dotted every I and crossed every T of something that you've already completed. It helps you be present. So I started holding here and just breathing deeply. And then, as often happens when I start to do energy work, the body knows what it wants to do. And my other hand migrated to the back of my head. So I'm holding my head in a little sandwich. One hand on the forehead, one hand behind the head. And everything calms down. Spaciousness appears. And all of a sudden, I'm lying there, and now I'm floating in the tubs, and I'm looking up at the sky, and I'm feeling weightlessness in the body, and the mind is matching that. There is spaciousness or even weightlessness in the mind. No thought, just observation, presence, peace, calmness. I can go back there right now just talking about it. Okay. And I want to show you the other thing that I did too. I'm going to take my earmuffs off, and I think you'll still be able to hear me. I hope so, but we'll find out. Okay. So this other one is using your hand actually to kind of mimic the earmuffs. You're wrapping your fingers around the temporal bone, which is right above the ear, about like 2 inches or so above the ear. So you're wrapping your fingers around that. And then the thumb goes right behind, and I'm kind of indicating if you're watching the video, that little flap of your ear, the lobe, right behind that on the skull, there's this little hollow. And the thumb is going right there on both sides and just holding here. You can do this laying down, your arms out to the side. I almost can't talk when I'm holding here, because what it's doing is it's interrupting all the stimulus coming in and helping to integrate it and then calm it. You're working with an energy system that we've talked about here before called triple warmer. And that's your fight, flight, or freeze system. It's one of the things that triple warmer does. But holding those points there allows the whole nervous system to relax. And then that point right behind the earlobe there, it's called a wind point. And it's really about mitigating the environmental forces that disturb the body. And in Chinese medicine, they're called pernicious forces. And one of the tenets of Chinese medicine is that illness can come from internal or external. And external, it's environmental. And so those points right there behind the earlobes helps to mitigate these environmental forces, especially wind, which can be very disruptive. And so having your thumbs there helps to, it's almost like, what would be a good metaphor for that? It's like the hole in the dike and you put your finger in and it stops the water from pouring out. It's a little bit like that. So the thumbs behind the ears help to keep the internal in and the external out. And then the fingers around on the temporal bone helps to calm that system that can get so agitated by everything going on, internally and externally. And so doing that hold allowed me in that moment to just be present. So I want to offer those to you as things to try this autumn as you're moving into the end of the metal season, the harvest season, which can also be often accompanied by grief because we tend to mourn and be sad over the endings in our lives. And then moving into the water element, which is about having courage and the faith that the cycle continues. And this is part of what the winter months bring us, is that deeply introspective time where part of us simply must trust that the next cycle will continue again. And the winter months are for planning for that next cycle. And part of that planning is our inherent faith that the next season will come. So I hope that you try those and that they're helpful for you. It is really a good thing to be able to stop your forward momentum, even at times, whether we're changing seasons or not. But, this happens often. You'll go on vacation, but you can't stop your mind. And here you are 2, 3, 4 days into your week-long vacation, and you're still working on the to-do list on your desk, right? So this inability to stop that forward motion can really inhibit us in our lives and inhibit our ability to relax. And back to that daily cycle, we have to have this ability every day to stop the forward momentum of the day so that we can relax and go to sleep at night, which is where we repair and heal and re-nourish our bodies. So if you have a hard time doing that, going to sleep at night because your mind is just rushing and rushing and rushing, these two holds that I've shared with you might help as well, so that you can cultivate and strengthen your ability to transition from whatever it is. Transitions are some of the most crucial health aspects of life. Transitions, junction points, these are the areas where we tend to get hurt, whether it's a physical injury or some challenge that happens in our minds, in our work lives, in our days, that we don't navigate transitions or junctions well. And that can be reflected in the junction points in the body as well. Joints, right? Those are areas, they're junction points. And those are areas that we frequently injure. When we talk about the gut bacteria, the microbiome, we're also talking about the tight junctions inside the gut lining that support your health, and that those can get leaky. It's literally the definition of what happens when those junctions are not strong. So transitions, junctions change. change is one of the most difficult things that humans have to deal with, and yet it is the only constant. So I offer these to you to help you with transitions, and I'd love to hear what you think about that. Drop a note to us in the show notes here. Excuse me, not in the show notes. Drop a note into the comment section here, or reach out to us anytime at emyogaschool@gmail.com if you want to learn more about energy medicine yoga. And I can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you next time.
Alrighty, energy fans, that's a wrap on another positively charged episode of Energy Works. Lauren, this is the part where we get to use our energy puns.
It's been electrifying, hasn't it, Blaine? We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have.
If you're feeling amped up and you want to keep your energy flowing, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform.
And we'd love to hear from you, so please take a moment to leave us a review. Your feedback helps us continue to deliver content that resonates, so light up our inbox.
And spark a conversation with your friends to tell them about us. And we'll see you next time on Energy Works.